From the heart of Hawkeye Nation comes the show that dissects the plays, debates the calls, and celebrates the victories. This isn't just a podcast. This is your unfiltered access to the mind of two diehard fans. They live and breathe black and gold, and they're here to give you the honest, raw takes you won't find anywhere else. Get ready for deep dive analysis, passionate debate, and a unique perspective on the team you love. This is Punting is Winning with JD and Keith.
To another episode of Punting is Winning, the All Iowa podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Keith. He's JD. Wish we were talking about a better outcome than we had yesterday, but I think it was a lot closer game than a lot of people thought it was going to be. I think that, and we'll talk about it more, but I think that's maybe the surprise of the day. So. But first, let's cover last week's question of the week, which was, give us your prediction on the Iowa State game. Had a few comments out. Most people took Iowa to win. Fairly close game, 3 points, 6 points. I think one of them was 34-17, which was way off. And then we had one that went the absolute opposite direction at 38-3 Iowa State, which was way off as well. But I anticipated it being a close game. I honestly thought there'd be more points in that game than there were, but it is what it is. So, question of the week next week for this coming week. I'll let you go ahead and handle that.
Yeah, question of the week this week is: will Iowa, as a team, pass for 125 yards against UMass? Yes or no?
That's one of them that you can really waffle on too.
Well, I mean, last week 83, the week before 44. So if they continue, they could be right around 125 if they continue on their passing ascent.
Well, if they double like they did from the week before, we'll be at 160. So hey, that's lighting the world on fire right there.
Yeah, I don't think you'll ever see that. I don't think you'll see that this year.
No, we'll see. Anyway, let's get into this game, dive in a little bit more in depth of what we saw. Initial thoughts from you.
It's always rough to lose to anyone. It's even worse to lose to Iowa State. I really thought about what I was going to say on here, and I really just kind of, none of it sounds good. So I'm just going to kind of say, I thought that our play calling in the first quarter was really suspect. I even said to the wife before when Iowa received the kickoff, which I knew they were going to receive the kickoff, they always take the ball. I said it'll be 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 5. I said 3rd and 6, and it was 3rd and 5. And I said, then we'll throw a 4-yard pass or a 3-yard pass, and we'll have to punt. And sure enough, it happened as if I was already watching it, as if I'd already seen it. But what baffled me was more is like we did the exact same thing on the next drive, the next possession, not even a drive because it didn't go anywhere. You have to go somewhere to be on a drive. They didn't do that. So
kind of felt like Brian Ferentz was back on the sidelines.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you this question. Who do you think was actually calling the plays in that game yesterday? Do you think Tim Lester was actually calling the plays?
Not until about midway through the third quarter.
My question,
maybe midway through the second quarter.
If Ferentz is going to tell him what plays to run, then why are we even paying this guy? Just, I don't know if I'm Tim Lester, to be honest, and if I'm basically being told what to run, when to run it, I would just throw my hands up and say, you don't need me. I'm going to go somewhere where I am needed. And I just leave. I just hand in my resignation right then and there and say, get some other lackey. I'm not going to be your lackey. This is my reputation on the line as much as anybody's. I'm the offensive coordinator. That's the job I have.
Yeah.
Why would I come here and throw my name in association with this passing game that has steadily gotten worse and worse and worse, no matter who's the quarterback, no matter who the offensive coordinator is, no matter any of the running backs coach is different. Everything is different except the head man. That's the only thing that's the same. So who are you going to blame for a passing game that's so inept when you've changed out different quarterbacks, you've changed out different offensive coordinators, you've changed out all of that stuff, but you've got one constant, one remaining player, one remaining coach that's been there the whole time of this whole thing, is watching this ship go down.
And I don't think it's scheme. I don't think it's personnel. It's not talent. It's stubbornness. It's I'm going to do things my way, and my way is to continually do the same thing over and over again until it starts to work, because eventually I'm going to wear them down. Well, that is not the way, I get his philosophy. I totally understand it. You want to limit possessions. You want to make lower scoring games. Fine, whatever. You want to rely on your defense to win games. You don't have to have a stellar, high-powered offense to win games. I get that.
That philosophy.
But you got to have some offense.
Yeah, that philosophy works when you're playing against teams that are so inferior to you, and you know that you just out-talent them at the end of the game, and you know you can run at will on them. But when you run up against teams like Penn State, USC, Iowa State, you run up against teams that are equal or even a little bit above you in talent level, that philosophy is a dead philosophy. That is not working for you. I don't know how many times have we lost 10 straight to anybody with a number in front of their name? Yeah.
Something like that.
So, you're going to have to change things up. You're going to have to make adjustments. If they're stacking the box, throw the ball. If they're playing back, then run the ball. He just seems to do whatever he feels like he has to make this as muddy as you can find. There is. I watched.
Let me ask you this question. Do you think it's a matter of outthinking yourself? Because I understand where the thought process is of, Iowa State's got this vaunted offense. You want to keep them off the field, so you're going to run the ball as much as you can to run the clock. Okay, that's fine. But once you saw that Iowa State wasn't superior on offense like you thought they were, the philosophy should change. Iowa State is not some offensive juggernaut. Like, they're not Oregon. They're not Ohio State. You held their, quote, best quarterback that they've had in I don't know how long, their Heisman Trophy hopeful, whatever. For 3 quarters, Grunowski outplayed him. So why does your philosophy not change of, I can keep them off the field and still have some semblance of an offense that moves the ball down the field? And what was it? One point, they ran 13 straight times. I mean, yeah, get it. Okay, great. You move the ball and you sustain drives, you chewed up clock, whatever. That's great. That chewing up clock comes back to bite you in the butt a lot of times when you're in tight games like that, because you don't have the offensive possessions to put points on the board anymore. You limit things so much that you limit your own team to the point where you're a detriment to it. And I just think the whole philosophy of limiting possessions in that game yesterday was absolutely asinine. When you saw that they weren't any better than our own offense. At one point through 3 quarters, we were out gaining them. Your philosophy should have said, I'm not scared of these guys. He plays scared. He coaches scared. Let me put it that way.
Well, I'm not going to put any of this on Grunowski. I know he had a couple of times. I mean, late in the game on that last, when we needed to go down and tie the game, he
held the ball
twice.
too much.
That can't happen. He knows that. But I feel like Mark Grunowski has been handcuffed. He has been limited to what Kirk Ferentz is comfortable with. And that is not why you brought him in here. You brought him in here to lead your offense. then let him do that. You brought Tim Lester in here to lead your offense. Let him do that. Stop micromanaging. Just be the manager. Make sure everything goes. You can be the PR guy. You can go out in your teleconferences every Tuesday and tell everybody about who's hurt, who isn't, and what we're going to do better this week. But let your coordinators and your coaches do their job. Let your players do their jobs. Let them play the game the way they know how. Mark Grunowski got here for a reason. It's because he was pretty good at what he did. And now you're bringing him in here and you're basically throwing his hands behind him and say, okay, now be a quarterback. He can't do that. That's not how he knows how to play. Let him play. Let him lead the team. Let him be the leader of the team. And I guarantee you the results will be better. I guarantee it.
Well, he doesn't handcuff Phil Parker like this. He lets Phil do his thing.
He trusts Phil.
And he makes the adjustments. Yes, that's exactly what it is. He trusts him because he's worked with him for a long time.
Yep.
There's no reason, though. There is nothing in my book, in my opinion, there is nothing that Tim Lester has done to not have his trust at this point. He has taken an offense that Brian Ferentz drug his heel and stomped into the ground and ground into the turf. And he at least rejuvenated it last year to the point where they could at least score points. Now, granted, there's no passing game still, but it's like, oh, well, you can have the running game part of things, but I'm going to hold on to this passing game because I'm going to make sure that you call those running plays. I mean, look at the things that did work. The slow mesh. Iowa State didn't know what was going on there.
Yeah.
You ran it 3 times.
Yeah.
And as soon as you realized it was working, when you realized it was working, you didn't go back to it.
You know what else?
You don't go to those short slants like everybody uses against you. You don't ever use that.
You threw the ball down the field one time, and it resulted in a pass interference. I can't count that last play because that's kind of a Hail Mary type of deal, out of bounds or whatever. But you threw the ball down the field one time. You actually aired the ball out one time, and you got a pass interference. Oh, hey, result was good. Let's stop doing that. We can't have that anymore. That's terrible. Tim must have got that play through, and I didn't notice it before I got it stopped.
Oh, we didn't run enough clock on that play because it fell incomplete.
There's too many such a great time manager through his entire career anyway. He's never been so many good at that.
It's like baseball. When you hit the ball, there's 3 things that can happen. 2 of them are good. One of them's bad. You hit the ball, they field it and throw you out. That's the bad thing. Or they catch it, whatever. You hit the ball, it goes in between players, you get on base. That's a good thing. You hit the ball, they muff it, you get on base. That's a good thing. He thinks that, oh, well, if I throw the ball and I don't complete it, the whole world's going to crash down. And because I can't run clock now. That is a stupid, stupid philosophy. Yeah. You have to use the pass game. If they don't come out against UMass, who is a very, very pathetically poor team, and just try to chuck the ball around at least 20 times in the first half, I will be highly, highly disappointed because this is your last chance to work on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that when Grunowski rolled out of the pocket and had when he rolled to the right or to the left, especially when he rolled to the right, he had that. He seemed like he was so much more comfortable throwing the ball. He just felt like the only problem with that is rolling out. You're eliminating half of the field essentially. But by the same token, you've got most everybody on that side of the field as far as your receivers. You don't have anybody over the other side because you're not going to go back and throw back across unless you know that's open.
Think about two plays that come to mind when you roll out to the right and you've been successful rolling out to the right, but having something go into the other side. Penn State in 2023, whatever, 21, whatever it was. Yeah. The last game that Iowa beat them at Kinnick. Mm-hmm. And Iowa State, when Riley McCarron?
Yeah.
Caught the pass that from C.J. Beathard back in 2015? Mm-hmm. Those are 2 good plays. You don't always have to. You can stop, set, have that flow go into one side, and still go back. As long as you stop and set, you can't try to roll out to your right and try to throw back to your left as you're rolling. That's bad mechanics, and that's inviting a pick. but you can still throw back. You're not necessarily limiting yourself. Yeah, you're dictating the flow to the right side, and your patterns are probably going that way, and you've got a higher percentage, but you can still go backside. And I think that's the thing that has been missing so much from the Iowa offense for the past 4 or 5 years is misdirection. They don't do anything to get them flow in one direction and come back another. I mean, if you do see it, it's maybe a half a dozen times in a year.
If that. I was thinking
And
maybe
it
twice
usually,
a season.
and it works.
Yeah.
It works. You get the flow going to the right, and they did I think of the Tyler Goodson play against Minnesota in 2019, when everything's rolling to the right, and he pitches to the left, and Tyler Goodson rushes for 32 yards on that play. What's wrong with that? What happened to the counter? What happened to a counter play? What happened to, we ran what? Did we run one fly sweep yesterday at all?
One, and I don't think it did anything.
Okay, so and that's fine, but you can always fake that.
Yeah.
When was the last time Iowa ran a reverse?
And that's the thing too. Iowa State was so in hot pursuit. They were pursuing everything.
They were
not
out.
staying. They were selling out. They were absolutely flowing to the side of the field. They were leaving the other side of the field wide open. And I just don't understand how the coach is sitting, especially the one sitting in the press box up above, can't watch that, see that, and say, I know what I'm going to throw. I know what I'm going to run the next play. If they're going to keep doing this, I'm going to run it the other side, or you've got to be able to adjust to the situation. You can't strip plays, which I think they were stripped the first 2 or 3 drives.
First 10 plays are usually
it's horrible scripting. That was so bad.
How do we know that he didn't do that and got vetoed? Trying to call that play in.
Like I say, if this continues, if Iowa goes out this Saturday against UMass, wins the game big, 42-0, 42-7. I don't care what the score is. But if all we do is run for 400 yards and we throw for 50, if I'm Tim Lester,
it's a failure.
I'm just throwing my resignation in right then and there and saying, you don't need me. I'm out.
If that's the case, then I'm Hecklinski, I'm Hank Brown, I'm Jimmy Sullivan, I'm Fitzgerald. Ryan Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
I'm jumping in the transfer portal right then and there because all they want is a running back who might have to throw the ball once in a while.
And that's a good point. Because if they're not going to throw the ball, they're not going to get anybody that come out of the Power 4 that says, I'm not happy with my position. I'm a receiver at Alabama and I'm 4th string, but I've got 5 stars behind my name and I'm not happy that I'm not playing. Am I looking at Iowa? Absolutely not. I am never going to look at Iowa because they can't throw the ball. They refuse to throw the ball accurately or efficiently.
Try to throw the ball down the field.
Yeah, they just throw these little dump offs. That's not going to do you any good. That's not going to get that kid to the NFL. If they look at their highlights, if they've got video highlights that they're going to give as a senior, and they're going to give them to the NFL, what are you going to see? 5-yard outs and a tackle.
Did you block?
Yeah, can you block? I mean, you look at
the NFL, nobody cares. Yeah, nobody cares in the NFL if a wide receiver blocks.
No, they want to know if you can catch the ball and run routes well. Well, we don't know because Iowa doesn't even give the kids an opportunity. They could run the best route in the world. What if they're not going to throw them the ball? What difference does it make?
Does it seem to you, and maybe it does to me, does it seem like everything that Iowa does is slow developing in the passing game? There's nothing quick. If it's a quick play, it's usually that little flare out to the wide receiver that, they tried it yesterday once. Hayden Large missed the block completely. I mean, it wasn't even close. Dropped him for a 3-yard loss, never went back to it. Yeah. Well, it was a negative play, so let's don't use it again.
After the game was over, I flipped over and was watching some of the Missouri and Kansas game because I wanted to see what Bo Perbula looked like because he was between Iowa and Missouri, and I was kind of curious. And I was watching that game, and I was seeing these guys throwing this pass over the middle and completing him for 20, 25 yards, and I just went, I'm so jealous. I'm so envious of this. I feel like the poor kid in a neighborhood who watches all the rich kids run out to the ice cream man as he drives down the street, and I know that I can't watch and I can't go and get an ice cream cone. That's how I feel as an Iowa fan, watching other teams throwing the ball down the field and making big plays. Iowa doesn't do that, and I'm so jealous of them. I'm so envious.
I mean, you look at it this way: you've got
They're killing this team for me.
You've got an Albany team that's terrible, going up against a very good defense from Iowa. They threw for what, 125 yards at least?
Yeah.
We couldn't even do half of that.
No.
Now, granted, yeah, against Albany, we didn't necessarily need to throw the ball, but you've got to work on it. Now, I will preface this by saying, what was it, 70, or you said 83 yards? Is that the total?
Yeah, 13 of 24, 83.
I think he would have had probably 140 total on the had receivers caught the ball that were catchable.
There were some drops. Like I said, I don't put this game.
There was a 65-yard touchdown that was absolutely dropped in the first half. That was like, how does it hit you in the hands in stride? You drop it, and there's not a safety behind you. You're gone. But you drop it. I mean, that three quarters. Like I said, he outplayed the Heisman Trophy Rocco Beck. Heisman Trophy candidate Rocco Beck. He had more yards. He had a higher completion percentage. The only thing he didn't have was the touchdown. He had the interception on his side, and Beck had the touchdown on his side. Now, granted, that interception is probably more on the receiver slipping and not really making much of an effort to come back to that ball anyway. I'm not saying that it was a great throw. It was a perfect throw to the defender.
Turning point in the game.
Well, there's 3 plays in my book, and I think we talked about this before. 3 plays in my book that were turning points of that game. That was one of them. The circus catch by the tight end that was knocked up that probably could have been picked. And the third one was the third down do-over.
Yeah. The phantom timeout. That was ridiculous. If you're going to allow that play to continue and run to its conclusion and then blow the whistle at the end and then come back and say, oh, well, we called a timeout. That's ridiculous. What you say as a referee is you turn to that coach, say, sorry, coach, I didn't get that. I'm sorry. The play started. We're not going to allow that. You can call your timeout after this play if you want to, but you can't just go, oh yeah, we'll just give him a timeout and let's do no.
I know the ball was snapped and he was running down there trying to call a timeout and I didn't see it till the ball was snapped. So let's just go ahead and let him have it. They didn't get the first down. So, I mean, that was ridiculous. Call. That was 3 points right there. You had the 7 points on the that they got from the pick, and the 3 points that they ended up kicking the game-winning field goal on that circus catch. There's 13 points from those 3 plays. I don't want to say that those 3 plays, but those 3 plays directly led to those 13 points. Yeah. Those were the 3 plays in my book that completely dictated that game. Now, Iowa State fans could probably say, well, the pass interference or the personal foul that kept the drive running right at the end of the first half. But those aren't luck plays. Those aren't that's you commit a personal foul, you commit a personal foul. That's stupidity, exactly. Yeah. It wasn't because you had a circus catch that, I'll give the kid credit. Great catch. Absolutely great catch. Great concentration on his part. Kudos to him for making that catch. But that's a 10% catch. And he made it. You tip your cap and you say, okay, great. Can't do anything about that. The defense played it well. It just got the right bounce. Whatever. Yeah, I don't know. And those were the 3 plays that really decided that game in my opinion. But the game was really decided in the play call. Yeah. The lack of ingenuity. Like I said, you ran the slow mesh 3 times. It was successful 3 times. And you don't ever go back to it. It's like, well, we showed it to them. They'll probably figure out how to defend this one of these times. So I've got to stop running it because I don't want them to defend it once. Because then I look stupid for running it again. Go back to that. What was it against USC? Snuck the ball 4 straight times for like 15 yards. Yeah. Okay, if you're having success with something, yeah, eventually they're going to catch on, but you don't stop until they do.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was just those first 3 possessions for Iowa. All I could do is shake my head. I'm like, what are we doing? What is this? This is ridiculous. This is the worst play calling I've seen them run in the last 3 years, probably before
But you
Deacon Hill.
knew, but you knew before we even talked about it. You knew in your mind that was Kirk Ferentz calling those plays.
Well, I would think so.
Because I cannot think, with everything that we've heard and we've seen and people talking this and that, that is nothing. None of those plays are what Tim Lester would call. From what I've heard, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he was making the calls. I don't know.
I think there was a coaches meeting either before the game or on Friday, and it basically was, we've run the ball successfully against an FCS team. We're going to try to run the ball on the road against a ranked team at their house. And that's all there is to it. We're just going to run the ball because that's what I feel comfortable.
We're going to limit the possessions. We're going to play the game in a phone booth.
We're going to muddy everything up and make them beat us. And basically, guess what? They did.
They did. And it has been that way for the last 10 games against a
3 out of the last 4 years, and it's ridiculous, and it's got to stop. Iowa has got to decide whether they want to continue with this or if they want to move on. And I think at the end of the season, if they go through a 5-7 season, this is time to move. This is time to move. And I right now can't see 5 wins, to be honest. If they continue to play like they played against Iowa State, and Iowa State, like you said, didn't impress me all that much the other day. Iowa played really good defense. I'll give it to them. I did think the Iowa defense played very well. But you're going to come up against a whole lot better defense and offenses than this was. You think Drew Aller is going to come in and just lay an egg? That kid's going to throw and pick you apart. You think the Indiana quarterback, that Mendez, he's going to be about, by the time it's in his 5th game, he's going to have it pretty well dialed in. And he's going to pick Iowa apart. Oregon's going to destroy Iowa. 69 points against Oklahoma State, and it wasn't even that close. They had to pull back. They had 69 by the end of the 3rd quarter, and they didn't score in the 4th, and they just basically sat on the ball for an entire quarter. That they're going to come into Iowa City, and I know that Iowa's got a better defense than Oklahoma State, obviously, but they're going to come in and they're going to run all over us. It's going to be ugly. You think 42-0 against Michigan in the championship game about 3 or 4 years ago is bad? It might be that bad, if not worse.
Yeah.
That's
going to be more like that Ohio State game.
Yeah, 56-10. Yeah, but we're going to continue to do the same thing that we've done every day since day one, because we can't figure out how to adjust to the level of competition and what they're doing to us defensively. We can't change our offense to try to limit the amount of times that they can rush through like a blitz. If they're going to blitz and can do it consistently, well, you've got to figure out plays that counteract the blitz. The quick hitter. But we don't do that.
If we're going to continue to play like this, you might as well just trot Reese Dakin out there on 1st down and say, go ahead and just see if we can pin him deep.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. This is as bad as I felt about Iowa. And the thing of it is, since Deacon Hill probably, the thing of it is, I think we've got a good quarterback. I think the kid can throw. But you hamstring him. You handcuff him, and he cannot be allowed to be himself and to play the game he feels like is how he wants to play it. I'm not putting this on Mark. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I'm just saying let him play it.
It's almost as if it's in their mind that if I do stuff good, I'm going to get pulled. If I do stuff bad, I'm going to get pulled. So I don't know what to do.
You're right.
So I don't know. It's
too many voices in his head. He just
it's frustrating. It sucks because, I'm the kind of person that when Iowa loses, I don't want to watch anymore. And it's not that I don't want to watch football. I just don't want to see that score come up on the screen or in a halftime highlight of another game and have to hear the national pundits talk about, Iowa State beat Iowa. That's those words right there are the worst words to hear. Iowa State beat Iowa, to me. That or Nebraska beat Iowa.
Well, that might happen.
So, you know, I put my aches and pains all on Kirk Ferentz's head today because I had to go out and do yard work yesterday.
To get away from your TV.
To get away from the TV, and it frustrates me because I love my college football weekends. And it feels like, I'm with you. The enjoyment is, I don't get psyched up or I don't know, what's the rest word to use, geeked up for the weekend like I used to. Yeah, part of that's age, but I still love college football. I would watch from 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. every Saturday. It didn't even matter if Iowa was playing. I would watch college football from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed. And my wife understands that there's 15 Saturdays in the fall that you don't plan anything and you don't bother me. And it's at this point, she's like, yesterday she says, well, I know that you don't like to watch football after they lose. I said, let's go to Lowe's, buy her stuff, let's do our yard work. And I think that she was like, she said I had to readjust my plans because I couldn't do what I want to do because I felt like I needed to do something with you. I'm like, I get it. And that's the reality of watching Iowa football at this point. And the thing of it is I was getting that apathy with basketball too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Ben McCollum, I'm giving you're going to have to save me because I didn't even want to watch Iowa basketball half the time.
Right.
I would watch, if they won, I would watch the highlights or watch the recorded video. I would not watch them live. And that's kind of where I'm getting with football anymore. It's like, well, I can record it. I can see what the score is, and I can determine whether I need to waste my 3 hours or not.
Yeah. Yeah. It's getting to the point where my fandom is being ruined by this. And I hate to say that. And I am very excited about the McCollum era coming in basketball. And I know that I will be more excited about that than anything. In fact, I was actually a little bit more excited. And I'm not a basketball guy for the most part. I'm more a football guy. But I was just really excited to see him come in. And I think he's, like you said, he's resurrected my fandom of basketball. And while one is being resurrected, the other one is dying. And I hate to say that.
It's like we can't have nice things. We can't have them both.
Right. So, what's the scenario? What's it going to look like if Kirk wins 206 or what is it, 206 he's at now, or 207? What is it? He's 207.
5 right now. He's got to get to 206. Yeah.
Okay. So he gets to 206, let's say Saturday, and everybody's, congratulating him. Hey, everything's great. Fine. The world's going to be in perfect rhythm and alignment. But the rest of the season, you're up against competition, and you may end up 5-7. Well, guess what? 5-7 is going to get you out of the Hall of Fame talk. Mm-hmm. You're falling below the threshold. Does he just say, I'm good with 206 or 207, whatever it is, and I'm just going to retire and let whoever else, assistant head coach, take over?
Wallace take over and finish out the season.
And do I just call it good enough right now where I can still actually, I'm now the winningest coach and probably in all of the Big Ten, and probably will remain that way for years and years to come because of the way the landscape of college football is that nobody stays at that college.
You have to average 10 wins a year for 20 years. To tie it.
With the fickleness of the fandom and the donors, if you are well, look at Nebraska, for example. I mean, they had a coach that was winning 10 games a year and they got rid of him. That's just the kind of thing where in Iowa, you win 10 games a year, you're revered. You're absolutely revered. But you never make the moves to make your team an elite team. You just are satisfied with being a good enough. And I guess I'm not sure where I'm going with this other than I don't think he's ever going to be, I don't think when he gets to 207 or 206, whatever the record is, I don't think anybody's ever going to attain that. And I think he can ride off into the set knowing I'm going to be at the top of that list for 100 years or more.
For the rest of his lifetime.
Or more.
And after he dies, who cares?
The rest of his kids' lifetime, probably.
Yeah. And again, like you said, Hall of Fame. You
Yeah.
know he's going to make in the Hall of Fame because he's above that threshold. His smartest thing would be to win this game against UMass and either step back for health reasons, whatever. I don't care. Use any excuse you want. Turn the reins over to the next generation.
Yeah.
Let them take the handcuffs off of them. If they go out there, it's a perfect scenario for him. He's got his record. He's in the Hall of Fame. If they go out there after he leaves and they bomb, he can say, "See, look where I would have had you.
I'll take that.
I was the reason you were where you were at. When I left, it fell apart."
I'll take that.
That's a perfect scenario for him.
I know it is. It is.
But he won't do it because he's too proud to do that.
It's a little bit of narcissism too, I think, and ego.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you did mention. Go ahead.
No,
go ahead. I was going to change gears.
Well, I think he's just gonna, he lives there in Iowa City with Mary, and I just don't think he'll ever be hands off, no matter what. You could turn the reins over to Seth Wallace in an interim basis, because I would like to see a complete overhaul. Maybe Phil Parker, I like him; he can stay because he's really good. But everybody else, maybe we'll keep the special teams coach too. But everybody else can go. I don't like Bud Meyer. I think the George Barnett or whatever his name is can go. I'm not a big fan of anybody else. Tim Lester can even go. He hasn't impressed me that much. If he impresses me, I'll reconsider. But right now, he doesn't seem to have the cojones
to stand up
and say, "I'm
Look,
the offensive coordinator. I'm going to do this, or you're going to let me. I'm going to go."
Either let me run the offense, or I'm gone. Yep,
yeah,
exactly.
I don't want to beat that dead horse, but yeah, I would take the chance on him saying, "Yeah, I've done everything. I'm at the 59.5% to be in. I'm not going to take chances and drop below that because I don't think this team's going to win more than 5 games this year. And I would definitely be underneath that, and I wouldn't be in consideration, even though he's the winningest coach in Big Ten football history. So that doesn't guarantee you anything other than your name at the top of that board for that particular staff. It doesn't guarantee you College Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Because if it took you 40 years to get to that, then
you could be 206 and 210.
Yeah, exactly. So,
you're still the winningest coach in the
take
conference.
Your kudos and ride off into the sunset after this game, or even the I don't even care if you hang on to Rutgers, but if you fall below the percentage, it's on you because you had the opportunity to walk away when you were above it.
Yeah. There's still time to right the ship, like I said.
Oh, yeah.
There's got to be that sense of urgency of, okay, we know we can run the ball, and we know against UMass we'll be able to run the ball. If we have to fall back on that, okay. But you better come out slinging the ball against them.
Yep. 100%.
Put your foot on, put them out of their misery in the first half. Then if you want to take the second half and just coast and just easy passes, dump downs, runs, whatever, go for it. But at least you've shown other people, you've shown the fans, okay, we can throw the ball. I don't know.
Here's something else too. If you get ahead of UMass by quite a bit and you're throwing the ball around and you're having success throwing the ball, which would be a shock to me if it happens. But if you're throwing around the ball and you're really having a good time and you're up pretty good, 35-0, you throw in Hank Brown and let him throw the ball too.
Yeah.
Because
doesn't
you
do him
don't
any good
know.
to hand the ball off.
One snap, Mark Grunowski breaks the leg, Hank Brown's in, he's thrown one pass all year. Shame on you because you had opportunity for him to throw the ball and to get some sort of rhythm with the receivers. That is on you because you had the opportunity and you didn't take it. So,
well, and here's the other thing I would say is, I think a lot of things with Ferentz is a lot about he doesn't run the score up on people because he doesn't want that to happen to him, right? Okay, fine. But you're at the end of your career, so who cares?
At this point,
go out there. Do you have any ties to the UMass program in any way whatsoever? If you go and hang 70 on them, who cares? This team lost to Bryant.
Yeah.
You better hang 70 on them.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother Ohio State to hang 70 on somebody. It doesn't bother Florida State.
Yeah. USC runs 73 on Missouri State.
Yeah. It doesn't bother them one bit. Nobody. Nobody. Yeah, you might make the head coach at Missouri State mad, but do you care?
Yeah.
No. Do you play them again? No. Is it what comes around goes around going to happen to you at some point? Maybe. Odds are probably not.
Yeah.
Why should you care? It's a competition. It's a game. Yeah, there's gentlemanly and there's sportsmanship. Whatever. That's great. If that's where you're in midway through the fourth quarter, you've got backups in and you're not throwing the ball in a game that you're up by 50. It's not when you get a lead of 21 in the first half, you start sitting on the ball so you don't run up the score on your opponent. That's stupid. So anyway, enough talk about that.
It's called giving the kids that have worked their tail off that are not starters an opportunity to show what they're worth.
Mm-hmm.
And if the other
giving
team
them an opportunity to decide whether they want to stay.
Yeah.
It's
give
giving
them the time, give them the opportunity to play. If they don't get the opportunity, and then when you need them and they don't have the experience, then you're learning from day one, as opposed to giving them garbage snaps, which, if you're ahead, to me, that's a garbage snap. But if you're way ahead, let them run the offense. Let them do what they need to do. Let them play like
they've got to learn it.
They've got to learn, and experience is the best way to learn. And if you're taking that away from them, then what falls upon you is of your own making.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, do we want to move on and talk briefly about UMass? I mean, they're not a good team.
I've got a little stuff. I got some things here on UMass. UMass is 0-2. They've lost Temple 42-10, and Bryant 27-26. This game will be at 6:30 on Saturday on the Big Ten Network. They are from the Mid-American Conference, so they do play in the FBS conference. They are first year coach, and his name is kind of tough. It's like I don't even want to start it. Something Miak. They've played 3 quarterbacks this year, and all have pretty good quarterback ratings. Their best running back is Rocco Griffin. He's got 20 carries for 114. He averages 5.7 a carry, and his long is 41. So if you take the 41 out of it, then it's probably more like about a 2-yard average. Their wide receiver, they got one wide receiver that makes a majority of the catches, and his name is Jaquan Gibson. He's got 19 receptions for 221 yards, an 11.6 average, a long of 50, but he did not score a touchdown. So none of their receivers.
He has more receiving yards than we have throwing yards in 2 games.
Yes. And the thing of it is, the next highest receiver's got like a total of like 6 catches for 60 yards.
Still,
so, I mean, like he's got like 19 for 221. So this is the guy that they lean on when they need the 3rd down conversion. Their leading tackler is a guy named Darian Gray. He leads the team with 17 tackles. Here's something that is going to relate to the Iowa team. They have 2 Australian punters. And the one that does the punting, they have a freshman, and I think the other guy's either junior or senior. The number 1 guy is averaging 50.1 yards per punt. And he's punted 9 times this year. So that's fun. Their coach is a first year. What's that?
So because punting is winning.
Punting is winning.
In their case, it's not.
Their coach is a first-year coach. He has coached at Rutgers, where he was the defensive coordinator at some point while he coached at Rutgers. He was a D-backs and co-defensive coordinator at Minnesota. So he knows Iowa. And he was also the head coach at Maine.
Oh.
Fun little tidbit right there.
So there you go. There's your reason for him to not want to run up the score, because there's your connection.
Because that guy used to coach at Maine. Kirk's first head coaching job. So,
yep,
we can't make a bear look bad.
So 27-0, 27-3 game.
Yeah,
where we try to run the ball 400 times and don't throw the ball 3 times.
Right.
So, all right. Well, at least I know what to do and what not to do next weekend.
Yeah. Well,
at least it's a late game. I'll get to watch a lot of football beforehand.
It is a late game. We'll get to watch football before our night's ruined. No, we won't be ruined. We will win the game. Iowa will win the game. But it's how do they win it? is what's in question at this point. But that's all I have. I mean, I think Maine is or Massachusetts, I guess, in this case, would be. This is. I think they're better than Albany, but I don't think by much. I think if they played, it'd be like a 7-3 game, or 10-9, or similar to that. So that's all I have. I don't know if we can. You want to beat the dead horse of the Iowa State thing and Iowa being bad again? We've already done that.
No.
Well, let me ask you a question real quick. I'm going to ask you this question. When I was looking at stats for the Iowa State game, if you had to give a guess on what Grunowski's quarterback rating was for the Iowa State game, what you think it would be? And I don't know what QBR, what all's factored into that. I would assume completions versus attempts versus touchdowns versus you get points knocked off for interceptions and fumbles and that kind of thing. And so, what do you think his QBR was? I'll give you a hint.
Is it above 50?
No.
Okay.
That was
say 44.7.
45.03. Pretty good guess. Now, what do you think Rocco Beck's QBR? And I'll give you the stats for him: 18 of 27, 134 yards, 1 TD, no picks. What do you think his QBR was?
83.
93.9. So his QBR was doubled Grunowski's.
And I don't feel like
he was twice as good as Grunowski. No,
I don't feel like he was half as good as what Iowa State wants to think he is.
Well, Beck
he's played poor competition up to this point, with a defensive competition, and he's got inflated numbers because of that. Well, Iowa held him in check. I think Iowa did very good against him. They did what they needed to do. It's just the offense didn't do what they needed to do.
Well, he had 3 more completions on 3 more attempts. So he had 5 more completions on 3 more attempts, but he had 51 yards more passing.
Yeah, like I said, through 3 quarters, I know he had less passing yards than Grunowski did. He got most of his passing yards really got inflated. I don't want to say inflated because that's saying that it's in a bad manner, but they got a boost in the 4th quarter on that last drive. That's when he got the majority of his. That's when he moved ahead.
Yeah. Now, here's a question for you, and you may be able to answer this. In terms of carries only, not by yards, just by amount of carries, who was Iowa's leading rusher in terms of carries yesterday?
Grunowski.
Yes, 16 carries, 37 yards. The next highest was Jazzy Patterson, who had 11.
For how many yards?
60.
Yeah, almost 6 yards per carry, and they don't let him run it.
5.4.
I go back to, was it about 2018, 2019? Last time we ran a wildcat formation,
right,
with Tyler Goodson in the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
And we're beating a dead horse, but like I said earlier, you might as well just throw a running back there and just say, use that extra blocker and just run. I mean, that's basically what you're doing now.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm done talking about it. So let's just move on.
Yeah. So, UMass 6:30 BTN Saturday. Let's hope for a more efficient offense as far as balance.
Yeah, let's just hope for some semblance of an offense.
Yeah. Let's see the passing.
Let's say passing offense.
Yeah. So. I want to see some passing. I don't want to see a dump. I don't see 5-yard dump offs or 7-yard dump offs to the running back or little out routes to the tight end for 4 that when we needed 5.
Mm-hmm.
On a third and 5, we go out and run a 4-yard pass play. That just seems normal. That's every day. We just have gotten conditioned to being, 4 yards on a 5-yard when we need 5 yards. It's just been conditioned into our heads that that's what's going to happen, and you might as well accept it. There's times when I feel like you should yell, "Punt team, get ready" on first down.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I was going to say. Is if we're going to just continue to play like we're playing, might as well just put Reese Dakin out there on first down. Say, go try to pin them deep.
Yeah,
That's the best we can do. Let's see if them make mistakes and let the defense win these games.
that's what we did 2 years ago.
That's what's been going. That's what's been happening for the last 4 years.
Yeah, if you didn't have,
when was the last time the offense actually had to win a game and did it?
yeah, I can't remember. That's I
2019 against USC in the Holiday Bowl.
Oh, they were so far ahead. I don't know whether they really needed to at that point. But I was thinking,
but that was an offense. That was not on the
well,
defense.
we had an offense
there.
Yeah.
So
well,
I mean, that's probably the last time.
Well, it's like
I can think of.
I texted a friend and said basically when Iowa State kicked that field goal and go 16-13, I said I have no confidence that our offense will go down and get a tie. None. Zero.
Well, and that was also a really, really, really bad time for the offensive line to forget how to block.
Well, it's pretty easy to block against 3 when you're 5 or 6. But all of a sudden, then when Iowa State starts putting up pressure and they run another couple of linemen out there, all of a sudden we can't remember what we're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty easy to guard to push 3 guys around.
Yeah.
When they drop.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Moving on, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't have anything else for this week.
Yeah, just wrap it up.
All right. Well, thanks for everybody for the new subscribers.
Yes,
keep checking us out on the social media. Keep supporting us. We appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything. Comment on these videos, put a thumbs up, whatever you need to. Check us out on all of our social media platforms. Like we always have. I'm starting to get things back out on TikTok and Twitter and the shorts. I had gotten a little busy and didn't get a lot of time to have things done. Hopefully that's behind me now, and we'll get some stuff pushed out like normal. Other than that, check out our merch store if you feel so inclined to help represent us. I know I go out and you've got not some of our merchandise on, but you do have the show on your shirt, and I usually wear mine out in public when I can. And we'd appreciate the support. We appreciate any commentary that you guys want to throw in. I know a certain Hawk fan likes to dog on me. I don't know that there'll be a whole lot this week that he can dog on me about. I'm on his side of the fence with this one. So we'll see. But we'll just go from there, and we'll hope for a better result this weekend, and cross our fingers for 125 yards in the air.
Yeah. Prove us wrong. Get 150. Get 200.
Yeah.
Would be nice. Let Sam Phillips catch a ball and run for a touchdown. That's
like asking somebody to give you the winning lottery numbers.
Yeah. Well,
and being right. So
it's not too late, right, Coach. Turn over a new leaf.
Yeah. Let's roll out of here on a Go Hawks, and we'll catch you next week. All right.
Okay. Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.